Time for a little glitz and glamour as NASCAR rolls into Auto Club Speedway, located just east of Hollywood, California. Only today, it's here where someone's dreams are going to come true. This vast and wide racetrack has aged quite a bit and developed multiple grooves for passing opportunities. Will we see another Hollywood finish today?
Probably not. Yes, hello racing gamers, and welcome back to BombersportsPlays NASCAR Heat Evolution. Let's drop the green flag on this sucker, shall we? As you can see, as predicted, our car is absolute anus around this track. There's no other word to describe it, so we've qualified dead last. Hence why I probably even didn't show you the qualifying lap. We are already trying to make some ground up here. We remain optimistic here in the Auto Club 400, which is actually only 50 laps rather than 200 laps. But details, boring. We are already on the offensive. We made a position up already in the first corner. If we can continue making up a position per corner, we'll be leading by 10 laps, I think. I mean, that's a good ratio to have. And we are determined here, except our car does not want to cooperate. And even as Matt Benedetto, by the way, oh, I've nearly ploughed Reddit's favourite NASCAR driver into the wall there. Would have had many, many downvotes there. My reputation on Reddit would have been sullied. I've been banned from most subreddits for life, and I'm still getting into it with him. He's 3 wide of Michael McDowell and Ryan Ellis, his teammate. So here's the stat, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, the TLDR on this race. My car is absolutely atrocious here, but I'm not. But yeah, you see what I mean? To be fair, Ryan Blaney's car looks to be even worse. Yeah, you don't say, Bobby. I just saw it. Yeah, there's a wreck in turn 2. Yeah, I kind of saw it. I was nearly a part of it. So, yeah, granted, our car is not quite as bad as Ryan Blaney's, but, yeah, it's worse than the Phoenix car. It is wrecking loose getting into the corners and disgustingly tight coming off the corners. So it's basically the worst combo possible. In fact, tight on entry, loose on exit is probably no fun either. But those sort of combos where it's like different characteristics on entry and exit is just the worst. Literally, my poor crew chief is just sat there with his head in his hands. Like, we've gone through multiple practice sessions, like, trying to fix things. There was one point where literally it was like, well, if we try and loosen it up to try and make it less tight off the corner, it's like, turn the wheel slightly, and now I'm into the wall because I was fully 45 degrees sideways before I even knew what was happening. Yeah, the career car is an absolute dog. And I'm not talking about a bitch. I'm talking about a rabies-infested dog with fleas and, you know, just, I don't know, just walking around. It probably should just be put down before it infects people with a Resident Evil kind of virus. I don't even know where I'm going on that tangent. Basically, I'm driving a rabid dog right now. That's the TLDR on that previous statement. But yeah, car is absolutely crap here. But luckily, I really like this track. It is one of my favourites in NASCAR now, both to watch races and to drive in the games. Never was that case, but ever since NASCAR 07, I've been pretty decent at driving this track. And ever since about 2013, I've enjoyed the track as a whole as a racetrack. You know, as you know, the Auto Club 400 every year has become one of my highlight races of the year. But, hello, Kyle. Yeah, you're desperately waiting for DMR to improve your season, aren't you? Well, I have good news from the future. They might be... Whoa, goodness me. I have bad news from the immediate present. Everyone's, like, stacked up in front of you, and I've gained a bunch of positions there. We're up into the top 30. This is a decent start. One thing we also have, we're side-drafting Kyle Larson in a straight line as well, as he just wonders what on earth's happening with his life. There's Chris Buescher, Chaser Chris Buescher, to our left. And car number 34, Larson's dive bombing again. Larson, this is not you, mate. What are you doing on my inside? It's California. It's an oval of some kind. You should be miles over to my right up against the wall. Basically, how he ends most races with some paint on the right side of the car, I've got no idea, especially at someone like Darlington. But we're past Brian Scott, the most average NASCAR driver in the world. And up to 25th. This is a good start, you know. And something else we've got on our side is maybe some fuel gambling. We may be about to do some more fuel mileage shenanigans here, because the estimated range is about 16 to 17 laps. Now, it looks to be about 16 laps initially, which will put it as a 3-stop race, with the final stop coming at lap 48 of a 50-lap race. However, if we can make 17... Someone else is wrecked. Oh, goodness me, he's coming down the track. Ha-ha, it's Regan Smith. Goodbye, Regan. Oh, whoops. I was so distracted by that. I've nearly wrecked myself. I've wrecked Brian Scott. Goodness me, everyone's wrecking behind. Goodness me, that was absolute scenes. Absolute carnage to kick off this Auto Club 400. And as a caution, after some laps, I'd say about 6 laps or so. So we're looking to pit here. We'll take one of our early pit stops right now. Right here, right now. As Fatboy Slim once sang, I guess? I don't know. Oh, we're back to 38th again. But you see there, look, 17 laps, but as soon as you cross the start-finish line, it goes to 16. So it's roughly 16 and a half laps on fuel. So we've got our first pit stop out the way with 41 laps to go. So that should mean still 2 to go. But I am planning on trying some fuel mileage shenaniganery here. Also, did anyone notice Regan Smith is now 2 laps down? Ha 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 ha. I mean. Anyway, not that I'm taking any pleasure in that whatsoever. The feud between Regan Smith and El Generico continues. We are 3 wide here with a battered and belugan Martin Truex Jr. He does not have a straight body panel left on that car. He's still mired down in the midfield. Larson behind Matt DiBenedetto. Ah, saviour this, folks. DMR are going to make sure this doesn't last much longer. Eric Jones is up not in the last place positions. That's hilarious. Jamie Murray is like, I'm being beaten by a field filler, guys. How the hell? As I said in my first impressions video, I actually enjoy the fact that in these games now, they actually use real drivers, albeit ones from the lower series. Because thinking about it, I mean, it's kind of lame, but hey, you know, the last few guys in any given NASCAR field are like Cole Witt and Reed Sorensen in unsponsored premium motorsports cars. Like, really? Not really. I mean, I find it funny. It's like, oh, they can't afford to, or like they don't want to give up the license to be in the game. I'm assuming it's a cost issue, because otherwise it's like, well, it's free advertising, mate, and it's not exactly hard to model your car. It's like, does anyone remember in NASCAR 14 when Paulie fucking Haraka was in that game? You could tell they were desperate for field fillers in that one. They were like, who started a cup race this year? Just anyone. Someone. What about that guy who crashed in someone on pit road at the Sonoma? Oh, him! Yes! One of the worst drivers ever! What was his car like? Just a Ford with a number 12 on it. It was black. I don't remember what it actually looked like because the front end was stoved in whenever anyone saw it. Yeah, just put that in the game. So, at least it's not quite that bad, but I still prefer all of this to the old EA Sports style of just making fictional drivers. Like, I'd rather race Eric Jones than Cletus Jones or Bubba Davis III Jr. or something. So we are blowing around the outside of Aric Almirola. Goodbye, sir. Buescher has stepped up as well. He's up into the 24th place now. As our stint continues. They're looking all right on fuel. We're basically keeping that permanently in the top left because we are going to try and run this one on fuel mileage. And what's going to be fascinating is that estimated fuel icon, I guess we're going to find an answer to the question of whether when that ticks down to 0, do you still have something in the tank, or when it hits 0, it means 0? I guess we're going to find out. We're up behind the front row motorsport teammates, Landon Castle and Chris Buescher. There is no room to move. Normally I might try for that gap, but this time, nah, not feeling that. Now there is a load of room, but my car's just deciding to slide it. Oh, I'm on the inside of someone. I'm going to the low. Chris, what are you doing, son? You not, mate. You do realise what I said about my car being disgustingly tight earlier on, and that's not an innuendo. I'm not sure why it would be, seeing as we're talking about cars, unless it's that weird guy who was the running joke on Top Gear. That tailpipe man, or whatever he was called. Seriously, do you remember the series of Top Gear when Clarkson kept going, I went on the internet and I found this?
Still there?
Look it up. Apparently that's what they were showing on the screens. That was a great myth. I'm not sure what else it could have been. Maybe James May swimsuit photos? I don't know. Anyway, now I've put that horrible mental image in your heads. Let's get back to the race. So we're ticking down the laps. We're still fairly early on in this race, but we're working through the positions. Like, as I say, given how disgraceful my car is here, some sort of top 20 finish will do me just fine. Considering as well the craptastic finish we had at Phoenix, we need to get Team Budget Sports back on track. Bobby Labonte, once again, what are you doing on the track when you're spotting for me? And what are you doing in 22nd place? Seriously. Oh, God. I'm so shocked by that. I'm dying. Oh, goodness me. I need some tea.
Still there?
Ah, that's better. Tea has saved my life. Last night a tea saved my life. Last night a tea saved my life from Bobby Labonte. I literally don't even know. What this series is becoming, ladies and gentlemen, is the slow unravelling of the tapestry that is my mind.
All clear.
Anyway, perhaps it's all this. I'm still not used to having fans like Rhino GT4. I'm used to watching his videos being like, oh, he's that funny guy who somehow managed to let's play all of the Gran Turismo games, which to many normal people would have taken 155 years. And somehow he managed to do it without losing his mind.
Still there?
Senpai Plus. Notice me. That was a running joke from his Twitch stream last night. Down the outside.
Still there.
We're working over Bobby Labonte rather than dying at the mere sight of him. I find that's preferable, trying to overtake someone rather than looking at them and dying. Unless their name's Medusa. Oh, a little bit loose now. A little bit slippy slidey. It is so frustrating. This car, oh god, and then just right there in the middle of the corner, it's just like turning. No, that's just something I don't want to do. Oh look, there's loads of fans over there. Let's go play with them. Let's go see them. Hi. No, rabid dog. You're just going to bite them and give them radioactive diseases. And now we're behind Ryan Newman. Captain No Neck himself. He's just sort of there. He just sort of exists. He waits. Is what he does. We're overtaking him. That's what we do.
Still there.
The problem we got, though, look at the right front. It is just being disgracefully abused. We're here on lap 17 of 50, coming towards halfway fairly shortly.
Still there.
Fairly clean and green so far, except for that one moment when it really wasn't. You know, the problem I've got here is that the car is so disgustingly tight at times that, like, going around the outside and running the high Larson style groove is kind of the only option, except that then that also doesn't help my car's completely asthmatic engine. There's just sort of wheezing and gasping. It's like you get the run around the outside, you come off the corner and you're like, giddy up engine, let's go, let's see all that speed and torque which you don't have. And the engine just sort of goes... Look at this now, here we go.
Still there.
Oh, slow down. He's off the roll. Basically, the engine in this car is a bit like a metaphor for me running a marathon or any cross-country race. Like, fun fact, when I used to do, I don't know if any of you guys watching did cross-country back in school, but it was the worst thing ever for me. Like, I'm not athletic or remotely fit in any way anyway. Why do you think I'm a gamer? But basically, what I used to do in cross-country is, well, firstly what I do is not give a damn. Oh, Ryan, can you not do that? He's dropping back to hear my cross-country story. I didn't realize it was that fascinating. Would you mind not wrecking us in the middle of the corner just to hear my story? I'll tell it if you don't interrupt me. Anyway, for that rude interruption. Yeah, when I used to do cross-country at school, he's doing it again. Whoa, steady on. They just have no speed in the middle of the corner, and yet we just don't have any turn. It's quite hilarious. Look, he's still miles away on the exit of the corner, even though he stopped in the middle of the corner. It's like he's emulating the ETX AI around here. Has anyone seen Casey Mears yet? I hope not. Anyway. I'll finally get this bloody cross-country story out. Yeah, what I used to do is they used to have teachers stationed on certain corners on the route. And so literally I'd walk around with my fellow nerdy mates who didn't fancy running. My car's getting disgustingly tight at the end of the run here. I'd just sort of walk around with those guys. And then when we saw a teacher in the distance, we'd start jogging like, yeah, we're trying, sir. We're really doing this. We're really taking this seriously. And then after a couple of races where, like, I was finishing in the bottom 10, some of the teachers were like, oh, Adam, we're really disappointed with your performances. You need to step up. And I'm like, oh, okay, why? I'm never going to be a long-distance runner in my life. I'm about as much of a long-distance runner as Mo Farah is a NASCAR YouTuber. Actually, he might be. I don't know if Mo Farah is a NASCAR. He might be. Imagine that. Imagine that. That'd be fun. Mo Farah just as a gaming YouTuber. Sat there playing Quap. Is that the name of that game where you try and control someone running down a track and it's all spazzy limbs and stuff? Like, he's just sat there like, what? Like, hey, I'm Mo Farah and today I'm going to try and figure out how to make a virtual man walk and do what I do. But basically, my solution to teachers being like, oh, you need to, like, try in cross-country. No. My solution to that was, at the start of every race, of course, the people who were taking it seriously would, like, pace themselves and be like, oh, God, look at how tight, oh, God. Luckily, though, pit stops are beginning. But we are pushing this baby literally as far as it will go on fuel. We want to be gasping at fumes by the time we come into the pits. So we've got 4 laps to go on fuel, roughly. That's as far as we're going. We're up to 3rd. We might actually lead this thing briefly. That'll be fun. But basically what I do, speaking of leading, what I do in cross-country to give the impression that I was trying was at the start of a race, obviously it'd be like, 3, 2, 1, go! And everyone would like pace themselves, be like, yeah, this is a long-distance race, I've got to settle into a rhythm. And I just go, and just sprint the first like 100 metres down to the first corner like an 100 metres final. Like I literally was like, like just absolute speed, about as fast as my chubby legs could carry me. And then by the time I get to about the first corner, I would literally almost have a cardiac arrest and just pass out and then filter back into my standard place in the pack, which was back with the fellow nerds. So when I came across the line, still in, like 45th out of 50 or so, the teacher would be like, oh, but you still not stepped up your performance. I'd be like, well, sir, were you not watching? I led comfortably at one point. And they'd just sort of be like bemused and be like, well, actually, I can't dispute that, but that's not the point. Yes, it is. You can't tell me that's not trying. Landon Castle led with 2 laps to go here at the 2013 Auto Club 400. Can't tell me he wasn't trying. He did finish 26th in the end when he blew his tyre almost immediately, but still, doesn't matter. Anyway, we are finally looking to get on pit road. No, not quite. We are going as far as we can go on this one. We'll go to lap 24. We still have fuel in the tank. There are people ploughing past us right now. The fuel warning light has actually come on now. It's like, excuse me. I am now gasping at fumes here, so you might want to load some E85 back into this car. Yeah, Bobby, I know, I can see a little thing in the middle of my screen going with a petrol pump. Like, what else do you think it was there? Just like, ooh, look at this nice petrol pump icon. So we're either going to pit here on the next lap. If we make it to 25 at a distance of 16 lap stints, then we'll get to 35, 42 or so, and kind of leave us in a window from there. It'll be very interesting to see how these play out. We may be able to go from kind of a reverse situation. We still got 2 laps apparently on fuel. 1 lap. We have exactly 1 lap. According to our estimated fuel icon in the top left, we're going to run out literally as we hit pit road. So, yeah, Bobby, I get it. I'm low on fuel. Shut up. Not quite as bad as... I mean, what AI was it? What game was it where the spotter was just like, Captain Statement of the Bleeding Obvious? I'm not sure which game it was. But we are steady in 3rd. We haven't quite made it to the lead. Someone else has gone as long on fuel as us. Well, 2 other people have gone as long on fuel as us. But obviously everyone is now ripping past us on fresh tyres. That's absolutely fine. We're okay. Basically, we're gunning for a top 20, maybe lead a lap if we can. Denny, you just go on, sir. Oh, that was a fight for position. Damn it. I didn't mean for you to pass me if you were... yeah, there you go. I thought you were laps down like Almirola. Or Michael... No, Michael Annette's 4th. Michael Annette goes for another lap. Whereas we really don't. We're hard on the brakes, and we're into the pits for our first green flag stop of the day. Our second fuel stop. Should get us to the early lap 40s. And then maybe with a little bit more trickery, well, we'll probably need to pit again at some point.
Okay, that's the halfway mark now.
It is indeed the halfway mark, Bobby. Thank you for telling us that you can still count. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get some sort of caution trickery and get something out of this race at the very least. Ha! Did you see he was just stuck in the pits, not going anywhere, being millions of laps down? Oh, Regan. Regan. I'm just there, sat in the car, just like laughing with my crew chief, like, yeah, did you see that noob back in the pit box back there? You see the 7 car? How long's he been sat there for? 20 laps. Anyway, no more time for laughing at rivals. We're back out and away. Down in 32nd. That's a bit annoying. But hey, we did run it quite long on fuel, so we'd have lost some time in those later laps in the stint. But we are now out at lap 26, so around 42, lap 43 will probably be when we can go to on fuel. But then that also leaves us open to maybe, pitting, a kind of short pitting earlier around like lap 35, 36 maybe. And then going to the end on fuel from there and staying out. If there's a late caution, who knows? We've got a little bit of strategy to play with here. And that's what's often quite fun. I think sometimes in NASCAR, where it's all become about the sort of balls to the wall, side-by-side, elimination, hype, chase, blah stuff all the time. Like, if cars aren't going 3 wide and literally exploding into flames in a straight line, then it's a boring race. But I still like some of the strategic races, like some of the races at Michigan you get, where everyone goes, oh, whoa, they were going a bit slower than I thought. The front row motorsport boys have just got absolutely railed right there. I nearly got derailed in passing them. But yeah, sometimes races like at Michigan, sometimes they'll turn into fuel mileage races, and I think they're quite entertaining. Like, it can be quite fascinating seeing how guys go different ways about it. And, like, look at the Indy 500 this year. That was a classic example. As which blowing by more guys here. Goodbye. Bye. I don't even think this is rubber band. I'd be concerned if this is adaptive AI, because this is for position, lads. Like, I don't even know. So more guys are on pit road as we speak, so we should be making up a few more positions here. Yep, there we go. Oh, look at this. We might sneak back up into the top 20 at this rate. That'll be rather tasty. Up to 23rd, which, to be fair, is right where we were before we started this round of pit stops. But what's interesting there is that a few guys did go longer on fuel than us. So, that'll be quite a thing to... Reagan, you're going about 5 miles an hour, mate. What are you doing? scenes as we blow past him for 22nd. I assume he just came off the pit road, so he's still getting up to speed. I'd hope that's the case anyway. Otherwise, he's somehow got a worse engine than ours, and I don't think that's possible. There's Austin Dillon up in front of us. We're starting to gain on him. Did anyone see his car get unveiled this week? I think it was unveiled yesterday. His 2017 car. It looks really nice. And he's doing about 5 miles an hour as well. That's pretty disgusting. Who turns 1 and 2 again? We're on the cusp of the top 20, which means our sponsor, MDS, might actually pay us some money this week. They literally looked at our Phoenix result and went, yeah, you know, we specified a top 20 finish. 38th is not that. I'm sorry. But I was running in 20th for most of the race. Yeah, but you weren't running there at the finish, were you? No, you weren't. So, no money for you. But hopefully, if we can stay where we are, it's actually now 19th, we might get that precious payout. And trust me, everything counts at this point. When you've got a car as dog shit as this one, you really need everything you can get. Oh, we have a caution. Right. Tactical caps on now. Estimated fuel 13 laps. So, we've got 21 laps to go. What do we do here? What do we do? What do we do? Do we pit and hope we can get some fuel mileage under caution and somehow go nearly 20 laps on fuel in the final stint? It's got to be worth a gamble, surely. Right, yes, repair some damage. We are pitting. We're pitting for fuel and some tyres and everything else. And we've got a few more guys back here gambling us as well. So here we go. We're on the way with 17 laps to go. And we're estimated to go 17 laps on fuel. Ooh, I told you we might need a caution to make things spicy. We might be right on the verge of going to the end on fuel here. And if some guys didn't pit under that caution, they're going to be in big trouble. So we might be about to set up for a very interesting final segment of this race, guys. This might be one of those. This might not be one of those classic Auto Club final restart 5 million wide, someone exploding into flames in the infield kind of finishes, but this is going to be fuel mileage tension for the ages. Oh, hi, Regan Smith. Nice to see you on the track. Have you actually turned up now? Have you stopped sucking yet? Lel. Well, there you go. Ryan Blaney's also had a dreadful race as well. All of these guys on the inside are lap down cars. Well, except Almirola. So, let's see what we can do here. I think there's Casey Kane on our inside. Yeah, there he is. Keeping a very close eye on where Danica Patrick is. There's Jimmy Johnson flying in from out of nowhere. He's caught back in the field after he pitted with us, so he's obviously he is now on the same strategy as us. I'm on the same strategy as Jimmy Johnson. That makes me feel pretty good. That makes me feel like I've made a good decision. If my crew chief has made the same decision as Chad Knaus, I think that's pretty good. Hello, Ryan Blaney. Can you not... Can you... Well, to be honest with you, it was always too much to ask, considering the only time we've seen Ryan Blaney in this race is when he just fucked off to Narnia in turn 2. Trying to go around the outside of him was probably not a good move. Look at Jimmy Johnson. He is storming up through there like a fucking storm roller. I don't even know. I'm drafting behind Jimmy Johnson. Basically, well, he won the 2016 Auto Club 400 IRL. So, if I could stick with him, I know I'm pretty good to the... Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. Because I've just realised he's got a Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolet. I've got a Team Budget Sports second-hand Arca car with rats living in the chassis and rats powering the engine with scraps of carrots for food and nutrition. Well, Carl Edwards is there as well. So, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, basically, I feel good about our strategy here because a lot of the leaders have taken it. Some of these guys have gambled on fuel here and obviously believe that they can make it. Now, we did see a couple of guys in that first stint, well, that stint back when we pitted under green. We did see a couple of guys go slightly longer than us, Brian. But, Brian, what are you doing, mate? What you are doing is being spectacularly average. That's what you're doing. As we are looking to the inside, we still have to make up some positions here because we, of course, to mired down in the field. We can't rely on this fuel gamble completely saving our result here, so we are going to try and move up here, and I'm going to take another sip of tea. Ah, very nice tea as well. I do say so myself, in my Sonic the Hedgehog mug. Because when you're recording commentary for gameplay videos, and you need a drink to have with you, who needs a glass of water or Ribena when you can have tea in a Sonic the Hedgehog mug? I'm sorry, just doesn't count. I like the fact that my senpai at this point, Rhino GT4, also has tea during his gaming sessions. It's quite senpai plus, big fan plus respond, is genuinely how I greeted him in the chat. And that's kind of how I reacted the first few times. He was like, oh yeah, like, I liked the BombersportsPlays video, or I listened to the Motorsport 101 podcast, it's really good. I'm like, like, I mean, Rhino GT4 is not like, it's not like a TM at Marduk, but like, Rhino GT4 is still a top guy. You should totally subscribe to him if you're not already. How many the amount of games that guy has got through and completed like almost 100% is absolutely ridiculous. As I say, he let's played all of the Gran Turismo games, including 6, which would have bored me to tears 2 episodes in. But like those games are head crushing in terms of depth, and he managed to complete them all. Someone's pitting. Well, that's Carl Edwards going for the pit stop. I think that was Carl Edwards anyway. That's interesting. But yeah, he's also played... I've had a couple of guys ask me to play the original NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, which is one of the original NASCAR games, monster games made back in the day, along with NASCAR Heat. Oh, hello. Yeah. Switcheroo on your ass, Denny. Have some of that. Up to 24th. I also can't take Denny Hamlin's name seriously now that I've seen The Room. One of the main characters in that is called Denny, and he's a creepy teenage child person who secretly looks like he's going to do horrible things to you of an evening. It's just not good. Denny, please don't do that to me. Please be friendly. Be friendly to me, Denny. Stop looking at me like that. Anyway, incidentally, if you haven't seen The Room, what are you doing with your life? Please see it. It is the classic example of terrible film that's so dreadful it's actually funny. Or just watch OSW Review's film review of it. That's equally as good. So, coming through the middle of turns 1 and 2 once more. We are about 10 laps to go here. We're at 11 laps to go, technically, because we're on lap 40 right now, and we're estimated 10 laps on fuel. This is going to be a bit close. Ooh, I'm drawing my fingers on my mug and sipping more tea tensely. I don't know how it's actually possible to sip tea in a tense manner, but I am doing it. But yeah, you should totally go sub to Rhino GT4. He's a legend of the gameplay, of the racing gaming community here on YouTube. And I won't be doing a NASCAR Dirt to Daytona playthrough because he's already done it. And he's done it in such huge depth that I wouldn't be able to match. So, basically, if any of you are asking me to play old NASCAR games, it might be NASCAR Thunder 2004. That was actually one of my first NASCAR games. I got that for the PC. Fun story, I got that because I thought it was NASCAR Racing 2003 season. I tried to get a copy of it and I was like, oh, this is it, right? And then only when I installed it and worked out that none of the mods for NR 2003 worked, I was like, oh, so what game have I got? Oh, it's NASCAR Thunder 2004. What a load of Oh, actually, it's actually quite a good game in its own right. Except for the whole thing where it would, like, automatically quit a race as soon as you crashed, and you're like, no. You had to go into on the PC version, you had to go into the files and change something to stop it auto-quitting out of replays, so you could see your absolutely huge big ones. Dear, that's a sentence that's difficult to continue with, isn't it? You could see your huge big ones in slow motion. Do you know what? I'm just going to move on. So yeah, NASCAR Thunder 2004s. I think I know Real Radman's doing a series on that, which has been pretty good so far. But the other older games I have, you've seen me play NASCAR 07 on this channel before, and I will go back and finish the Chase for the Cup mode in that. Maybe do something more there. NASCAR 08, I've been teasing a NASCAR 08 career mode for a long time now. That might be the first thing I do once I finish with Heat Evolution, which is still a long way off, bearing in mind we're only, episode 5 into this series. We've still got a long way with this one to go. But I might see if I can start up, maybe do some streaming of NASCAR 08. And I've also got NASCAR 2000, a game I don't see played that often online. It's a PlayStation 1 game. I believe it was also on, would it have been GameCube maybe? But I've got the PS1 copy, and as basic as it looks now, that is still a really fun game. The fantasy tracks in that game are just as good as any EA Sports fantasy tracks in any EA Sports NASCAR game. They are seriously good in that game, including if anyone's ever driven the Big Sky Raceway in that game, wowza, that was a belting track. But that's quite a fun game. I also like the fact you can do like shorter compact season. You can do like themed seasons in that game. Like you can do a 5-race short track only season, or like a super speedway season, which is like Daytona. No, Daytona's not in the game. So it's like Talladega, Pocono, Indianapolis, Michigan, and Fontana, I think. Something like that anyway. So you can do things like that. And I also like the fact they have a short race mode, which is like, it's something like 10% or 8%, but it scales the fuel and tyre use down, so you have to at least pit once, which I think is really interesting. I like that. I'd kind of like to see that in other games, so you don't have to necessarily run a length. I mean, I guess in this game, it's, you know, it's matched by the fact that you can set the wear rate to be a lot faster. I've set this to 3 times wear rate, so we get a decent amount of pit stops in the 25% race. So, speaking of pit stops, the laps are still ticking down. We are up to 13th now. So this is going to get interesting. There are more people hitting pit road. These must be the guys who did not pit under the last caution. Carl Last is bearing down on us. I assume he has already pitted because he is coming fast, baby. But we are up to 10. Oh, no. He is actually on the same lap as us. Larson! Get back here! How has he suddenly got faster than us? This is disgusting. He just pit early on and was like, yeah, I've just got more tyres than you now. Well, I'm tired out at this point, but a top 10, a second top 10 finish of the year might be on here. We're still looking at 5 laps left on fuel. And I have a horrible feeling we're going to end up coming up a lap short here. I just hope it doesn't end as badly as that one time in Days of Thunder where I tried to be sneaky on fuel and... Oh, Larson is pitting. Good boy. Haha. So he temporarily loaned 10th place off me and then immediately gave it back. And actually we're up to 8th now. Oh my goodness. This is tense. We've got 4 laps of estimated fuel to go and 5 laps left in the race. Oh dear, this is a bit tense now. This is a bit nerve-wracking. See, what I don't want to do in a way... I remember what I said in the last episode about Gus Hansen and gambling and all that? Gamble responsibly, kids. You know, do we gamble and go for that top 10 result? But if we run out of fuel on the final lap, how many positions will we tank on the final lap versus just coming to pit road and taking a splash of fuel? Like, I don't know. What do we do? It's gonna be so close, and it depends. Like, at the time of recording, and I still really don't know, but at the time of recording, I legitimately didn't know if that estimated fuel icon means you are going to run out of fuel as soon as this thing ticks to 0. At which case, we're going to come to the white flag and already be sputtering and crawling about 30 miles an hour. Or is there still a bit left in the tank? Is it going to be like that episode of Top Gear where they go halfway across Europe on 1 tank of fuel and Clarkson would seem to think he's run out at his own house, and yet he keeps going for another like 200 miles? I'm really hoping it's the case because, I mean, this engine is so pathetically down on power, theoretically it's got to make up with it with fuel mileage, right? Right? I mean, is there a way we could do a Terry Labonte 2006 on this? McDowell's pitting in, he's laps down already, so 2 laps left on fuel. Oh, trouble in turn 1. David Hoots, what are you going to do? We're green, we're still racing. There is a car slow in the middle of 1 and 2.
You're low on fuel.
Thanks, Bobby, for the reminder. Like I didn't know that. Who's that spun out? Let's point and mock. Paul Menard. Ha ha ha. Let us mock. Actually, we've got better things to worry about here. Oh god, this is now properly tense. Anyone who tells you fuel mileage races are boring, they're not proper racing fans. I'm sorry, they're like banger racing fans, effectively. If there wasn't a crash in the last 5 minutes, they switch over. Look, as you pass the pit entry, it ticks a lap down. We've got 1 lap of fuel left, I think, and 2 laps to go. What do we do? Oh god, this is so tense. I need more tea. As I say, if we pit for a splash now, like, what's the lesser of 2 evils here? Running out on the final lap and crawling around 3/4 of a lap at 30 miles an hour or whatever, as Joey Logano is tearing up behind us. He's going so fast, it's ridiculous. We are still running 8th, down to 9th now. How many positions do we lose on the final lap? This is going to be the white flag right here. What do we do? What do we do? How brave are we feeling?
Low on fuel.
Not very brave at all. I'm pitting.
Slow down.
Yeah. I hope I'm not going to live to regret this. Right, just off, nothing, no tyres, just a splidge. Not even a splash, a splidge of fuel. That's all I'm asking for here. That's all we need. That's all we can take here. White flag's in the air. I feel a bit like Jeff Burton at the end of the 2002 first segment of the All-Star race. In fact, I think someone's already won the race. Someone was nearly a lap ahead. So I think for some people, the fuel mileage gamble must have worked. For us, it may not, but we may still be able to salvage something out of this. If people are running out on the final lap. That's it. Literally, that's a splidge of fuel right there. Come on, go, 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 go. Where are we? 17th. That's not terrible. That's not too bad. It's still in the top 20. That's still where we want it to be. And, oh, goodness me. Have these guys all finished? Yeah, I think they have. They've all finished, so they're slowing down. Goodbye, everyone else. Goodbye, cruel world. That literally was enough to give us 4 laps. Oh, man. Dylan finished 4th in the end. Austin Dillon finished 4th. That's quite remarkable. But, oh, man. I just don't know. I just did not know whether we'd have enough fuel to come around and whether we'd lose more positions by running out of fuel on the final lap than taking a splash with 1 lap to go. There's guys coming onto pit road. I don't know if that's because they've run out or not. Tony Stewart's next up the road. And we finished the Auto Club 417th, which I tell you what, overall, given how garbage our car was here, this is probably the worst track on the schedule for our car in its current state. Given all that, and the shenanigans at the end there with fuel mileage, I will take a top 20, but with a tinge of what might have been. I just don't know. Anyway, Jimmy Johnson takes his second win of the season, so his fuel mileage gamble worked. Carl Edwards, we saw seemingly pit earlier, paid off for him as well. Casey Mears third, Austin Dillon fourth in the end. That is remarkable. And it turns out we finished 17th because that was the last of the lead lap cars. Everyone else from there on back was a lap down, including Dale Jr. We beat Dale Jr. in this race. In the main, we beat him as well. So overall, like, as much as I'm a little bit like... Sorry, I'm just laughing at Regan Smith. As much as I'm a little bit like, what might have been if we'd stayed out and run to the end on fuel, I just don't know. I think we'd have probably been passed by those guys anyway had we run out, so maybe 17th was the best that was open to us on the table, and it does mean we guarantee a payout from MDS this time around. Thank you very much, Landon Castle sponsors. We get a decent payout this time around. We are back in the top 20, and Jimmy Johnson... Oh, that was Jimmy Johnson's first win of the year, sorry, not second. It's Joey Logano who's won 2 races this year, my apologies. We move back up to 20th place, so a solid race. That's not too bad. To be honest with you, as I say, overall, we can sit here and wonder what might have been, just how much fumes were left in the tank at the end there. We may never know, but still finished 17th. We're still back in well amongst the points, well in the top 20. That's basically our average for the season. In fact, is that our second best result of the year? It is. It is our second best result of the year. Hey, and we got a shout out from the champion of the race. Great to see all the hard work out there. Thank you. Hashtag keep working. I will. Hashtag cheers, Jimmy. Hashtag blame JJ. So a tweet from the winner. Decent top 20 finish. Our second best result of the season. And we're back up into the top 20 in points. Annoyingly, we still can't afford any more equipment and we desperately need it. But we have reason to be optimistic here. And the reason I say that is thus. If Auto Club Speedway was possibly our worst track on the schedule, given it's fast and almost wide open, and that's nothing that our car is, Martinsville is the opposite of that. Speed is top speed is a very small factor. It's very aggressive. It's the shortest of the short tracks. It's a ball ring. And here's the clincher. Well, here's 2 clinchers. I have both been very good at Martinsville in previous games. I remember lapping most of the AI in NASCAR 07 there. And I've heard from other people, mainly on the subreddit, that Martinsville is one of the best places to potentially secure one of your first wins of the season. Other drivers have said that is a good place to target a first win. Other tracks include maybe Bristol and the road courses. Some people have said Kansas, but this may be our first chance to genuinely be competitive this year. Given the fact that we won't be relying on top speed or anything else like that, if we can get the car handling semi-decently, we might be in with a chance for an upset of the century and Team Budget Sports' second ever victory. I'll see you guys next time for that. And thank you guys very much for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Just devastate the like button as you always do. Comment down below. I love to hear your comments every single week. And thank you guys so much for your support so far in this series. It's been greatly appreciated. I should be back in a couple of days' time for that episode 6 at Martinsville Speedway. I'll see you there, race fans.
Well, you can keep on talking.